And that's part of why I've got this amazing purple lighting. But
Hmm. I
maybe not the
noticed.
only maybe not the only reason though, because I don't know if you're aware of the movie I saw last night.
Uh, no way I could be. So please enlighten me. What movie
Well,
did
let me give you a hint. I could do a little number from it, if you
you?
will. And it should be easy because I generally look and I think sound pretty similar to Timothy Chalamet. So, well, there's chocolate, and there's chocolate, and Wonka
Mm.
has the best fucking chocolate. That's right. I
Oh
saw
wow.
Wonka, starring Timothy Chalamet, Hugh
Hmm.
Grant, and
Hmm.
a smorgasbord of other people whose names I can remember right now. An
Sure.
incredible film in which a young Willy Wonka survives 2 assassination attempts, sells a
Mm.
highly psychoactive and at times unlicensed medicinal chocolate on the black market.
Hmm.
Uh, he at the movie ends with him giving the Oompa Loompa played by Hugh Grant, I think, a gumball that makes him okay with the enslavement of his people while he sings World of Your Imagination. I need you to understand, this is not like shit that I'm making up. This is the text. There is a giraffe milking scene. He milks a giraffe in this fucking movie. It is incredible. It is
Man.
it is the wildest fucking movie I have ever seen. Some truly incredible shit. 9 out of
where
10. Willy Wonka's
where
illiterate.
where in the increasing pantheon of Willy Wonka movies would you place it?
I would say I would say that it's definitely a better movie than the Tim Burton Willy Wonka movie.
Okay.
The Tim Burton Willy Wonka movie is kind of a terrible movie, other than the one thing I love about it, which is that it does make an integral plot part of that Willy Wonka's lore. And sadly, this is retconned in the new movie, but it is
Hmm.
an integral part of Tim Burton Wonka's lore that he is a chocolate sales maker because his dad was a mean dentist,
Right.
and that's why he makes chocolate. They sadly got rid of that.
Ah.
Uh, I think the Gene Wilder movie is like an actually great movie and like triumph of cinema in
Hmm.
a way that this was not. But I had a
Hmm.
fucking blast. I smoked some weed and see Wonka this weekend. If you're listening to this show, you would enjoy it, I
Hmm.
think.
All right.
I can
All
reliably say that everybody who listens to this show would enjoy Wonka.
right. No, good to know. Thank you. Thank you for the update. And what does that have to do with the purple lights? I guess
Purple is
Wonka
Wonka
has.
colors.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say yeah.
Yeah, if
Purple.
you already need to be brushed up on the lore. The one thing they didn't go into, which I wish they did, is Willy Wonka selling chocolate to the Nazis during World War II.
Mm,
Uh,
mm. Yeah, kind of a
Sadly, they
shame.
didn't go into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but other than that, great movie. 9 out of 10. And I think Timothy Chalamet. Look, I think that nobody is Gene Wilder, and Timothy Chalamet is definitely not Gene Wilder, right?
No, no.
But
Right.
at the end of the day, if they're gonna cast someone as a young Wonka, I think Timothy Chalamet was a good choice. I think he did a
Hmm.
good job. I think that especially because it's now too late to do Willy Wonka that early in his life. Also,
Mm.
I guess my other criticism is that it is not necessarily great to start your prequel with the protagonist coming out and saying, "I spent 7 years on a boat."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing I've ever seen Timothy Chalamet in is the Dune, the newest remake of Dune. And it was fine. I kind of preferred the oh, what the hell's the guy's name? David Fincher?
David Lynch
Did you see the like Dune from the
from the
yeah,
'90s. David Lynch.
90s? Yeah.
He hates that
Yeah.
movie because he does not like what the studio did to it, and then people get mad at him because it's not what the books wanted it to be. But if you think about it, Dune, Wonka, kind of the same story in a lot of ways.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of overlap.
A lot of parallels.
Yes.
But this is not, in spite of our extensive knowledge of film and mise
Hmm.
en scène and cinematography,
Right.
this is not what this show is about.
Mm-mm.
And we do need to get on to the topic.
Yeah.
The topics, I should say. This is Underworld News Tonight, where we cover the weird, wacky, and wild news of the week.
Hmm.
I'm Andrew Michaels. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, the first man successfully conceived via the old Ohio Howdy, Jason Strong.
That's right. Yep. The Ohio Howdy. Yeah, I think they banned that now. The-
I, they're
Ohio's a very
certainly have
different
tried.
place. Yeah. Yeah. Ohio's a very different place than where I grew up.
It's less and less Ohio Howdies,
Right.
more and more vaping with these kids.
Yeah. 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 The kids and their vapes.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, with us being at this point super popular with the youth, I know I'm something of a teen heartthrob myself at the age of
Sure.
28.
Uh-huh.
Which, by the way, like, it makes me very uncomfortable. I have to say, kids, stop vaping. That is metal in your lungs. I don't know if you've seen the commercials.
Hmm. Yeah. No good. And honestly, I think the people with those like enormous vape rigs, they kind of strike me as douches.
It's a bit much,
I'm
if you're
like, what
gonna
the fuck
vape,
are you
if you're gonna
doing?
vape, can you at least get like whatever the new version of a fucking Juul is, right?
Right.
Like, that's kind of what I think. Like, don't fucking spend $10,000 on and talk about juices. I don't want to walk through your cloud of fucking Lucky Charms every morning. Just
Right.
vape weed like a fucking adult.
Our first story today comes to us from Click to Houston. Uh, Houston's one of the Houston's local news stations.
All right.
It's very upsetting. Houston area
Oh,
family claims button batteries were found in 3-year-old's Rainforest Cafe burger.
wow.
Now,
It's not great.
yeah, no. What initially drew me to the story is the fact that I guess there's still at least one Rainforest Cafe. Uh,
That
I I don't think I've seen a Rainforest Cafe in like 20 years.
I went to a Rainforest Cafe once 20 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is wild to me that it's called Rainforest Cafe. And even I was like 8 years old. It's
Mhm.
called Rainforest Cafe, and you go in and it is wall to wall plastic shit.
Yes. Right.
It's extremely
You're
funny.
right. You're right. Yeah. No, this just these sorts of like theme restaurants just seem very like 90s or early aughts to me. I didn't realize they were still around. I guess like what Dave and Buster's.
Well, Dave and Buster's is different too, because that's like a
What's like video games? Like it's kind of an
it's
adult
just Chuck E.
arcade.
Cheese's for adults. Like that
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
there is an appeal to.
Right. Um, or what Margaritaville? I feel like those were. I feel like
Margaritaville's a lifestyle. Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett.
right. That
I've eaten at a Margaritaville within the last 10 years.
I don't know that I've ever been to a Margaritaville.
I went to a Margaritaville when I was 19 and couldn't legally drink. And it was a Margaritaville that was like in Orlando. So like they card everybody.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so I'm like, wasting my fucking time. Just
Right.
eating sober Margaritaville food.
Right. Yeah, I don't recall any Jimmy Buffett song about that.
True.
Sober cheeseburger in paradise.
Rest in peace, Mr. Buffett. But
Yeah.
anyway, go on. So there
Yeah.
is at least one Rainforest Cafe left for now, but it seems like
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
jeopardized that.
And yes, and this one here in Houston, actually, I looked it up, is the closest one to me. So if
Oh
I
wow.
was craving a Rainforest Cafe, I would have to drive to Houston. Um,
Let anytime.
yeah, probably not though. 3-year-old, they're with her family,
Mhm.
eating her little kids menu burger. Uh, they discovered three 20 millimeter 3-volt lithium coin cells. Uh, Apparently, these can be extraordinarily toxic if they are ingested.
I would imagine. Yeah, you're not supposed to eat lithium, right? That's like
No,
bad.
right. Yeah, and
Okay.
she had to unfortunately go to the ER, and sounds like emergency surgery was called because didn't pass naturally. Um, of course, the family's pretty upset about this, which
Mhm.
understandable. Um, Reading the comments, which I always recommend.
Oh,
Any
always
news
great. Any
story
news
whatsoever.
article, social
Yeah,
media, Facebook,
right.
and we're back to uploading on YouTube now. Like I probably edited out. Leave a comment here. I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah. No, always, yeah, always read the comments. There seems to be a great deal of skepticism that this event actually occurred, or that this wasn't like some
Are
kind of
you?
setup to get money from the fabulously successful Rainforest Cafe chain.
That's a restaurant that'll be able to pay you.
Right.
Yeah,
um,
you'd have better luck suing the actual rainforest.
right. um, yeah. No, again, interesting. Didn't know they were still around. Sucks that they put batteries in food, I guess. Or maybe not. Again, the comments seem to suggest otherwise. I've, to my recollection, been to a Rainforest Cafe once, and that was in 1999. Um, uh, my then girlfriend, now wife, and I had went to Woodstock '99.
Oh,
We
that's
showed
the
up.
one where a riot got started, right?
Yes, yes,
Great.
yeah. I wasn't there for that, and I can
You were
prove
in
that.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
You
there
were
was.
you were in the audience chanting, "Do break stuff."
Yeah, actually, that's probably true. I did see Limp Bizkit, and yeah, and was thrilled to do so. Um, no, but we drove from Cincinnati, got there, uh, watched the opening act, which was James Brown. Uh, but love James Brown. Like, highlight of my life is getting to see James Brown live. Um, yeah, but then decided like, man, this situation kind of sucks. Like, it's hot. There's nowhere to like rest. Food's expensive. So we actually took off and drove to Syracuse. Um, I don't know, 30 minutes down the interstate. Got a hotel room. Had a good meal at Rainforest Cafe in Syracuse, which, now that I think about it, I do recall I ordered like a bacon cheeseburger, and when they brought it out to me, it was just 2D batteries on a
That is a
brioche
problem.
bun. Yeah, and I thought, well, this is weird.
I feel like food was probably, I don't know, I was 4, so I was just eating, like fucking applesauce and shit. I do
Sure,
feel like food might have been worse in 1999. I think that more people were smoking
mhm.
cigarettes, and so there was just lower standards.
Right. You couldn't taste it anyway. Yeah, and it was wild that you would go to a restaurant and they'd ask you like, do you want the smoking or non-smoking section? And it's just different halves of the restaurant. There's no like mechanism that actually prevented cigarette
Yeah.
smoke from filling the entire place. Um,
That was, it was like that for a lot longer than people realize. Like, I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, so not even a red state, and I remember seeing that until like 2004, 2005. Like,
yeah. Well, I just recently went back home to Cincinnati, and Kentucky is right there, like it's right across
mm,
the Ohio River, and there's a lot of like suburbs of Cincinnati that are in Kentucky. Well, the fucking
right.
airport, the Cincinnati airport is in Kentucky.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand. I grew up in New Jersey. I understand that like the big city is sometimes technically another state, and everyone who lives in the state is around one of the cities that are in another state.
right, right. Um, yeah, but there you can still smoke. Like, well, I should say they have no laws against it, so it's up to the individual business. But like, you go into a bar in Kentucky, and yeah, it's like a fucking haze, a
That's in
cloud of
Florida too.
cigarette smoke. Yeah, yeah,
That's fucking wild. And I guess it was, that was just everywhere in the country when you were a kid. You grew. I forget that we grew up in very different times. You still had a fucking milkman.
I did. Uh-huh. Yeah. had a milkman. Polio was a concern, ongoing concern. Don't get the polio. Um,
You do feel bad about the decline of the milkman, but I guess when one of the things that people with your job are famous for is fucking your wife and fathering
right,
illegitimate children, I think it's probably fair that you're going to run into some PR problems.
right. Well, and it also speaks to like a different time with a different work ethic that like what
You you
this
left
milkman
dairy out in the sun to fuck
well
someone's wife on the route.
well yeah, I mean, certainly that's part of it, but just that like a milkman with a route, a number of deliveries that have to be made has the time to be fucking all these housewives. Like you look at the Amazon delivery guys now,
Oh
dude, they
no.
they are not right. They do not have time to be fucking anybody.
They not
They might be able to, well, rub one out at a stoplight, but
they don't even have time to take a piss.
no, right? Yeah, so it sort of harkens back to like a simpler time. Um, the
Man,
hell are we
bring it
talking about?
back. Rainforest Cafe, a child ate some batteries.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
good.
no, no, it's not. But that's all I have on this story.
That is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
Uh, so you're saying people are claiming that it's fake? Do they have like evidence for that beyond just like this seems stupid? Because Rainforest Cafe, like I said, it is plastic shit everywhere. Like
Right.
I think that was the first restaurant I ever went to that I saw the like. No, it wasn't Rainforest Cafe that I saw does the like giving you a buzzer thing, which I fucking hate.
Yeah.
Uh, but like
Yeah.
it is plastic and battery powered shit literally everywhere. So I'm not on
Uh-huh.
Rainforest Cafe's side.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they had, if I recall, they had like a gift shop that had,
Yeah,
various rainforest themed uh
every good restaurant has a gift
merchandise.
shop.
Of course, yeah. But odds are like I think they probably do have those little coin batteries in abundance at any given rainforest cafe.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think
Well,
that
any
this
given
family
the
fed their
one,
child a battery
right,
to fake it and tried to get it from Rainforest Cafe. Like I think he
right.
would go with like a Five Guys or whatever, or like any of these restaurants that give you a fucking buzzer.
Yeah.
At least if I was
Okay.
gonna feed my child batteries to get money out of a fast food restaurant.
Right.
Or I'd have them drink the Panera charged lemonade, but I wouldn't fucking
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to get money out of Rainforest Cafe in 2023. And I also think that to be the owner of an operating Rainforest Cafe within the United States today, you do not get there by being a legitimate businessman.
Right. No, I was thinking, yes, this almost certainly is some sort of money laundering operation.
This is because of the 8-year-olds they have making iPhones in the basement.
Oh, right. No, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Man. Well, anyway, the sadly the good name of Rainforest Cafe is being slandered by us too.
So
Um,
yeah. Well, I
but
mean, look, we just report. We're neutral, right?
we
We're
aren't
we're, we're
neutral.
fair and balanced.
We are neutral. You know what's one thing that I've never been neutral on though at any time ever?
Hmm.
The very real existence of aliens slash interdimensional travel slash ghosts
Hmm.
slash maybe collective psychic phenomena caused by
Hmm.
some encounter with parallel dimensions
Hmm.
known
Hmm.
as UAPs or UFOs or UFOs, uh, which have been cited all over. And this is an
Hmm.
update on a sighting that we actually did not report on from November 19th.
Hmm.
This is out of India. This report comes from the Deccan Herald. This is the UFO near Impal Airport.
Hmm.
IMPHAL. I think that's pronounced Impal. It was visible until sometime before sunset on November 19th, and then it disappeared.
Okay.
Uh, so the Civil Aviation Ministry on Thursday told the Lok Sabha, I don't know what that is, that an
Hmm.
unidentified flying object was seen. This is directly quoting from the article,
Hmm.
which was written by PTI. So I don't know who that is.
Hmm.
I realized like, oh, I should try to say the names of the writers who wrote these articles and these shows, but then their own fucking publications won't do it. So what am I supposed to do? The Civil Aviation Ministry on Thursday told the Lok Sabha that an unidentified flying object was seen near the Imphal airport on November 19th, and the object remained visible until sometime before sunset and thereafter disappeared.
Mm,
So landing and takeoff planes were suspended. And this was
mhm.
near the Bir Tekandrajit International Airport for
Oh,
nearly
I was
3 hours
mhm,
this is all directly from the article, on
mhm,
November 19th, 2023. Two flights were diverted to Kolkata, while three departing flights were delayed on the ground.
mm,
Uh, so the object appeared to be of white color, and it moved southwards and above ATC Tower and remained stationary there for some time. It remained visible until 1605 IST, and thereafter disappeared.
mhm.
Sunset time at Impal on that day was 1626 IST. So that would be 420, 405 and 426, respectively,
Mhm.
for those of us who speak the correct American times.
Right.
Minister of State for Civil
That's
Aviation
kind of early
VK.
for sunset. You think for 4:20?
It's winter. You've been looking outside late.
Yeah.
Did Colorado get rid of daylight savings time because they went woke?
No, no. I guess you're right. I guess I wouldn't. It does start getting noticeably darker. I guess around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So
Yeah,
I guess I wouldn't call that sunset. But anyway, continue. There was no reason for me to interrupt that.
absolutely. Well, the query by a Congress member, Manish Tiwari,
Mhm.
to a query by Congress member Manish Tiwari, the minister said that any unidentified airborne object in the vicinity of the airport poses a danger to the operation of airplanes because of the unpredictable movements of the object. Also, they will abduct the pilots and anally probe their butts, which is also a problem
Yeah.
because it makes
Mhm.
flying really hard because they got to sit in the cockpit.
Right.
Thereafter, the
Very
object
unpredictable.
sighted over it's difficult.
Yeah.
I know Gen Z, we are, like I said, we're really popular with the youth, and I know you guys are all about your pegging, all right?
Mhm.
Being
Mhm.
anally probed by an alien, you don't want it.
Right. Especially if you have to fly a commercial aircraft.
Exactly. Unless you're with Spirit. Unless you're with Spirit. I think with Spirit they require that
I
before you
think so.
fly.
Yeah. I think all Spirit pilots uh continuously have a vibrator up their ass.
I am sure, I'm gonna make a joke that I'm sure I'm not the first person who's made, but I do love that Spirit Airlines is named after the thing you're most likely to become while flying on it. Uh, but to a query by Congress member Manish Tiwari, all right, I said that. Any object in the vicinity of the airport poses a danger to the operation of airplanes because of unpredictable movements of the object.
Mhm.
Therefore, Singh said, the object sighted over Impal Airport posed the same danger to the movement of aeroplanes. Tiwari
Oh,
also wanted to know.
and it's aeroplanes.
This is India. They call them aeroplanes there,
Yeah.
or it's government
No,
inquiry.
no, I love that. Yeah,
I think we should go back to that. I like that too. I think
I
it's
do
kind of
too.
fun.
Yeah.
It
Aeroplanes.
implies it implies land planes.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. What terraplanes, terrestrial, Gaia planes,
Ground
ground planes. Yeah.
There,
No, I agree. Aeroplanes. That's so pretty.
Tawari Tawari also wanted to know whether the government has a strategy or policy to protect commercial airliners in an event of UFO sighting, and whether the government has a view on extraterrestrial life or living beings in outer space. He didn't get a response,
Mm,
which means they're out there 100%.
right.
That's whenever I yell about whenever I yell about aliens, I'm sorry, and people don't respond, I take that as proof.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
So,
Just asking questions. Um, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So they uh don't know anything else, anything further about this. I guess my point being, right, like the discussions about like uh what UAPs, UFOs
mhm.
typically occur within like a lot of the discussions around like does governments, do governments know it, maybe just because uh spoiler alert, I live in the United States and
Yeah,
have
that's
always
true. I
lived
know a
in the
lot of
United
people.
States.
we've gotten a lot of emails, especially since we've launched the website, underworldnewstonight.com, that people are saying, oh, Jason, he's what? He's Canadian, he's Danish, he's Russian, he's Estonian. No, he is an all-American. He's not as American as me because Spotify Wrapped says I have the most similar musical taste to Bozeman, Montana, but he's number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm up there in terms of Americanness. But my point being that like discussions about UFOs, right, and like evidence, the governments have photos, wreckage, biological material, whatever. It feels like it's always kind of centered around like the more wealthy, like Western countries. And
well, that's here.
Well, right, and like Europe, like
right, yeah,
like Northern Europe, but there's like, I don't know. Do you ever like? I'm
I mean,
trying
just
to
to
find
push
a way
back
to
on
say
that
this.
though.
I'm trying to find a way to say this without being like gross or insulting.
Without being a CIA shill, there's no fucking way. But move on.
But like, anyway, the conversation seems to focus around countries who have like an enormous government / bureaucratic apparatus, and less about countries that maybe because of their lack of natural resources or wealth, like have more limited administrative capabilities. Am
Yeah,
I
I mean,
making
I do think.
sense?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I do think that. Look, I'm not an expert on the politics of India, but I do think there also needs to be a bit of a differentiation between poverty in India and like
oh yeah,
government centralization and access to resources, because
right,
India internationally is a major economic player and a major
absolutely,
political player, and a
absolutely,
lot of people in India live in poverty because of income inequality.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Eventually it'll be very similar in the United States. But like so I do think there needs to be a differentiation there, but also like
absolutely,
there is there are a lot more stories out of Latin America. I mean, obviously we've talked about a bit about Jaime Maussan and kind of the bit of a
oh
what I
right,
think a
yeah,
lot
we
of people
did.
think of as a sideshow in the
Hmm.
Mexican Congress, but also in Brazil, it's a lot less stigmatized. There are a lot of probably some of the most convincing stories I've heard came out of Brazil in the 70s. There's also
Yeah,
a really convincing story it was out of Africa in the 90s. I think it was Zimbabwe, but I
okay,
might be wrong about that. And it was a
mhm,
bunch of school children who like reported the same thing, who wouldn't have had the cultural frame of reference to refer to the
right,
sorts of Western science fiction. So I would say
right,
a lot of really convincing sightings come out of here. Now I have a video that I'm going to show that purports to show this in just one moment. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to Sorry, I had to pause it because I'm not going to let whoever runs ads on these videos like show them on our show when we don't
right,
get paid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So this is a video from The
yeah.
Quint.
Mm,
Good to give a shout out to a channel with 3.7 million subscribers.
mhm.
So I'm gonna
Man,
do that. Share
man.
screen. We have about that many listeners, I think.
Mm, wow.
All right, here we go.
Mhm.
So you see it right up there?
Yeah, I do.
If that's not hard proof, what is?
Mhm.
He's saying Jason Strong will eat his words. That's what he's saying. I speak this language. And there's people waiting for a flight. I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
I don't care about like the people whose like day plans were harmed. Here's some better shots of the UFO.
They were going to go to Rainforest Cafe, and now
I know
the flight's delayed.
they were flying to Houston to go to the closest Rainforest Cafe to them as well. All right, we're gonna zoom in
Right.
on it. All right, look at the way. This is what's interesting to me.
Hmm.
You see the way its form sort of wobbles like that? It sort of stretches. It moves like in and out and wobbles around.
Yeah, it looks like several lights. actually, but kind of like coalesce
Could be that. It
and
could be,
kind of like spread and go back and yeah.
yeah, it could be a consequence of faster than light travel of whatever it's going through, so that there's some
Hmm.
like this is just residue of whatever was already there.
Okay.
Of course, there's a lot of people who's kind of promote this interdimensional idea of it. So I find it convincing, but like I don't know, what do you like when you see clips like this? I know you didn't find the Tic Tac video convincing either. What do you think?
I think yeah. I mean, obviously there's something. I just don't. I guess like okay, you see something in the sky and it's light and it's like flitting around. Um, looks weird like compared to other things you might see in the sky, like an airplane flying, right? Aeroplane flying,
Yeah.
right? Like I think we all know what that looks like.
Mhm.
But this, yeah, it doesn't. It's erratic and kind of bounces around. I think there's absolutely something there, but to jump to see that and then jump to, oh well, this is a extraterrestrial spacecraft. Like I feel like
I'm
there's a lot of
reasonable. It could
yeah,
also be an interdimensional spacecraft. I'm
interdimensional.
being
No, you're
very
right.
reasonable. It could be either. We don't know.
Right. But even like interdimensional spacecraft, to my mind, that makes it worse because what does interdimensional mean? Like, from the standpoint of like science and physics, like we don't that's not how like
It's
that's
like
not
you've
how it works.
never. Sometimes you just got to take way too many edibles and vibe with it, Jason.
Understood. Yeah. Our third story comes to us from the Mirror. I believe we expressed our affection for the Mirror.
They have the, I
Last
truly
episode.
think they have the best ghost section in the world.
I
I
think
cannot
yeah.
get enough of it.
Mhm.
Don't read the Mirror's ghost section because you're going to find where we take our stories before we say them. A lot, like disproportionately, but
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. No, I have before I get into the story, I have noticed that like stories that we've considered or like talked about between us, maybe didn't make our rigorous selection process.
Yeah.
But I have noticed them pop up like on, Saturday Night Live, like the Weekend Update, other like
Hack shit.
weird news comedy. Yeah. So yeah, that always makes me feel a little proud.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a
We're
good
seeing the
job.
same stuff.
Yeah.
We got to carve out our own little,
Right. Our own little niche.
yeah, we're bigger than SNL, I think. I don't know if anyone actually still watches SNL or just like ends up on their TV sometimes.
Yeah, in my case, it just ends up on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, mirror.co.uk. Um, this article invites us to meet the UK's youngest paranormal investigator.
He's a
He was,
sperm cell.
yeah, no, he's actually eight, uh, and he talks to ghosts through a phone app.
Oh wow.
Um, this guy should I mean, the article has the kid's name, I guess. There's no
Yeah,
harm
he's
in
going
repeating
public.
it.
I think you should read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bobby Horton, excuse me, age just eight. Uh, claims to use smartphone app to talk to spirits and ghosts, following in the footsteps of other family members in investigating the paranormal.
I
Uh,
can't imagine you're talking a very good, like very high quality ghost because you're really only talking to. Yeah, I guess there are some cool ghosts, cool people you can talk to post smartphone. You can talk to Robin Williams.
I think he, according to the article, and this is getting a little ahead of ourselves. The ghost he talks to is his granddad.
Oh, okay. So
He
this,
uses a phone app called Spirit Talker, which any of us can download. It's $4. I actually downloaded it, and a couple others, in because my journalistic ethics, require me to give these things a try to see what this is all about, and how 8-year-old Bobby can talk to his granddad
And who knows
via an
if there are
iPhone.
enough ghost hunting accidents, maybe one day you'll be the world's youngest paranormal investigator.
Mm. Oh yeah, boy, that'd be weird. That would be cool. That like uh when I was younger, all right, growing up in the 80s, there was kind of this renaissance in like weird or um paranormal like events that it was a little more like mainstream,
I mean,
right?
it was the Satanic Panic partly, right?
Oh, that was a little bit later, but yeah, like I think it fed into that. Um,
Yeah.
but like there was you could order a series of books uh uh published by like the Time Life, the magazine corporation. That would be like it would be like a 20-volume set about like paranormal activities, events, um, smartly it was like a nice smart like hardcover, and it was very sort of classy.
Oh,
But
so it was less like because I'm thinking like, when I was a kid, I guess a little bit of a shout out to I think the number one thing that this show would not exist if I didn't read so much Weird NJ when I was a kid, which was a quarterly like little zine that would come
yeah,
out and it would compile all the like urban legends and of New Jersey and stuff like that. I
yeah,
fucking loved that
mhm,
shit. But you're saying it was less like that because that was definitely a bit like, in its presentation, a bit schlocky and hokey in a way that I
right.
love, and this is a bit more academic.
Yes, exactly so. Yeah, it was like people would have these like books, and to be fair, they did a lot of like you could get, I don't know, the history of the West, or like fighting airplanes, like there was a variety of topics you could get like this, like a series of hardcover books on. But for me, the like paranormal ones are really hooked me. And I did, like when I was young, like thought, man, what a great, like, how do I get into this? Like I want to be a paranormal investigator. And I think
Yeah.
even like that there were universities that you could get a degree in like paranormal investigation.
Like real ones?
Yeah, Duke University stands out in my mind. Like
At
I looked
fucking
into this
Duke?
shit. Yeah,
Oh man. That's
yeah.
insane.
I don't know if they still do. And
I don't even know if it's true at all. You're just saying, and I'm taking
I
it at
know.
face value. But yeah,
Yeah. Look, what? Why would I lie? Why would I
that's
lie
true.
in a comedy podcast?
Why would we lie to make this show better? We have a lot of integrity, but in theory, you could just make that shit up.
I
Let me see
could,
if they
but
still have it. This is gonna drive me insane.
yeah,
Paranormal investigation, or how long? I mean, they probably don't still have it when they got rid of it.
I I have no idea. Like, or maybe it was parapsychology, but it was like,
Mhm. So it's the success. So there's now a private thing that's a successor to it. Uh, I think that this ended in 1965 when one guy, J.B.
oh,
Ryan, left Duke.
oh, well, I wasn't even born then.
But you were, come on, Jason. We don't need to lie about your age. You were born in 1928. We can admit it now.
Yeah, I'm the world's oldest Gen Xer.
The
I was
only
way
Gen
ahead of the
Xer, the
curve,
only Gen Xer who was at Iwo Jima.
right? Yeah, I just kept telling people at some point there's going to be a band called Nirvana, and it's gonna it's gonna change music.
Have you guys? You were you were a paratrooper jumping out and thinking this gives me an idea for pants.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Oh man.
I've got to say though, you're an 8-year-old British paranormal investigator talking
Mhm.
to ghosts on the internet. That kid hears some racist shit.
Yeah, almost certainly. Um, well, and his immediate family are also paranormal investigators, so uh, like it's not it's not out of the realm of possibility, right? That like a kid gets into paranormal investigating if his mom and dad are into it too. Like, um, but what interested me?
Or they're like Michael Jackson's dad and really trying to
Oh, like
they're
um,
like, you're gonna be the world's youngest paranormal
yes,
investigator.
right. They're like pushing him. Yeah, I don't know.
Could be.
Uh,
Maybe they killed the grandpa to motivate him to be a good paranormal investigator. I'm just asking questions.
oh man, I haven't even considered this.
Yeah. Like my
Uh,
question is, what are you investigating by talking to your dead grandpa?
yeah, and the article also mentioned, according to his parents, he only does quote light investigations, probably because he's 8 and
He's
maybe shouldn't be like tromping around. I don't know, the ruins of a sanitarium at 3 a.m.
no, come on. Come on, let him see some shit, I don't know.
Yeah, stuff that yeah, it says they deliberately like, or that he only looks into stuff that wouldn't quote freak him out. Uh
So
yeah,
so
so
like
it's
so it's like
like
investigating his grandpa and he's just like, "Yep, I'm still dead.
right,
Diabetes."
right. um I do like in this article again from the Mirror, uh they refer to his grandma as his nan.
Yeah, that's
And
classic British.
yeah, and his mom is his mum.
All right.
So it'll talk about like, that's what Bobby's mum, who is Teresa's daughter. Yeah, no,
That's
it's
cute.
yeah, it is cute. Yeah, it's quaint in some way. But no, what interested me most about this story is the fact he's using a phone app, right? Like that's that's how he
Where would a
communicates.
ghost get a phone is my question, right? Because they have to connect to the app? You said you use the app. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yes. So I used the app. It was not reviewed very well. So
Shocking.
I tried that and then tried like more highly reviewed uh slash free apps. Um
Turns out most of the bad reviews are just, I can't believe I paid for this shit.
exactly. Um no, what's interesting to me is like, okay, what component of an average iPhone allows you to talk with the dead?
I'm gonna
Like
say the human
like I have a
suffering from the that I'm gonna say the human suffering of the children working in the cobalt mines.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of like, I get that sort of like metaphysical explanation, but I mean, as a matter of like practical, uh, as a practical matter, like what is built into a phone that can detect dead people? Like there's a accelerometer. That's why you can move it and touch it, and like I have like a rough understanding of how any given like smartphone works. I don't understand from that how it then can communicate with the dead. Does that make sense? Like what physical properties? Because paranormal investigators will do what they use like
They at
um
least have a bunch of big stuff on a backpack and shit that at least
right,
looks like
right,
a bunch of dials moving around.
right. They use like uh what infrared,
EKG
like they
meter.
look
No,
for
that
heat.
that's for
Yeah, yeah.
nuclear.
No, they use electromagnetic, right? Like I don't know what it's an electromagnetism detectors and
Mhm.
heat sensors and like none of that is in. your average iPhone, right? Like, but anyway, yeah, using the app, I could take some pretty cool pictures, like photos, a lot of weird filters that you can yeah, will make things like, different colors, or there's even,
Mhm.
yeah, kind of a heat, well, it's not really a heat sensor. I think it just goes off color. It looks like a heat, like, what you call it? It looks like something that's picking up heat.
Infrared?
Infrared, yeah, thank you. But it can't, like, because I'm pointing it at the computer monitor now, and I think it's just basing it off of what colors are on the monitor. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
really, there's no way it can sense the heat, so it's just
Yeah, because you can't sense infrared in your iPhone or Android.
right.
Huh.
Um, no, I don't know. Like, it'd
Someone
be
should
cool.
sue this kid for lying.
It'd be cool if our phones could, could like cross the veil. Um, I guess I just don't know, like, how that would work.
Yeah,
Like,
like I think that what I said is probably like of the human suffering bit, I think is probably more like a better argument for you to make with your iPhone app versus a thing that there's
mhm,
actual technology that can do and your iPhone definitely can't.
right, right. You know what? Actually, I'm inclined to agree. Like, there's more of a, I don't know.
Like lean into something fully wooey woo.
Yeah, like it's more of a, like, spiritual, or yeah, metaphysical, um properties of the phone, based on who the individuals who have had hands on this phone, the kids in China that build it, and
Yeah, the problem is they're probably not going to let you on the App Store if you say that.
right. Yeah, I would imagine not. But yeah, these apps are out there if anyone's curious. I'd love to see, again, on our Reddit, Facebook page, Instagram. I'd love to see people's um, experiences with these kind of apps. What
Let us
if
know,
they
yeah.
find anything? But yeah,
And let us in
but yeah,
subreddit too, r/Underworld News Pod.
yeah.
Post your experience with
Um,
the apps.
but yeah, I personally haven't, having used this for all of a day and a half. I live in an like, the house I live in is over 100 years old.
Oh wow.
So I would think that, like, if there's almost certainly would be, like, some kind of, what, spiritual activity or ghosts, or
Oh
um
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on if they died at home or not.
well, we've my spouse and I, like, independently, have heard or, like, witnessed, I don't know, arguably, like, weird phenomena.
Uh-huh.
Like, um we hear, like, footsteps on the stairs. uh Lights will turn on or turn off, like, on their own. So I would think, my point being, I would think that, like, uh my house would have some kind of, like, would register somehow on these apps, and I haven't found anything other than, my cats are pretty cool.
It is it is very funny that your argument as to why the ghost hunting app doesn't work is my house isn't haunted.
No, it's the opposite. I would think that my house is haunted.
No, that's what I'm saying. The app is saying your
Yeah,
house isn't haunted, and that's why you're
right.
against it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not, like, uh I'm suspending judgment, we'll say.
All right. All right, I see what you're saying. We heard it here first. He's suspending judgment, going
Suspending
to
judgment.
all out war with his suspension of judgment.
Right. Mhm.
Suspending judgment so hard, its dick falls off.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time.
Well, we get a bit over exuberant sometime on this show. Sometimes on this show, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We have our yucks, we have our laughs, we do our jokey jokes.
Although,
Uh,
sorry, I I've heard like yes, you can be over exuberant. Can you be under exuberant
I
or
think
just
you can be
exuberant?
you could be under exuberant. You can definitely be just exuberant, and you could be
Okay,
under exuberant. Under
okay,
exuberant is like if you I don't know, if you're at the birth of your kid and you're just kind of like cool,
yeah,
that's under
yeah,
exuberant.
yeah. No, that makes sense. I just never heard
If you
anyone
didn't
under exuberant.
if you weren't rock hard for at least half of the movie Wonka, then I would
Mm-hmm.
say that as well. So, but anyway, all of
Mm-hmm.
which is to say that
Please.
uh that one man got over exuberant in Japan, trying to kill a cockroach. This is a story
Mhm.
from Philstar Life, the Philippine Star Life, written by John Patrick Magno Ranara.
Wow,
Uh,
what a cool name.
yeah, he's got.
Good for
At
him.
first, I thought it was two guys, but then it does seem to be just one guy's with four names. Yeah, John Patrick Magno Renara.
Yeah, good for
Uh,
him.
Man blows up his own apartment after trying to kill a cockroach.
Wow.
So this is citing local media reports, which cited Kumamoto Prefectural Police. A 54-year-old man caused a quote unquote huge ruckus in his neighborhood sometime before midnight when he saw a cockroach running around his apartment room and attempted to kill it. So what he did
Hmm.
is he took bug spray and just sprayed a fuck ton on it.
Sure.
Bug dies. A minute
Hmm.
later, a huge explosion goes off and blows off out a balcony window.
Yikes.
Uh, Not good, right?
No, no.
Uh, the blaze left the resident with a minor heating injury, according to authorities.
Hmm.
The culprit seems to be burn marks near his kotatsu, or Japanese heating table.
Oh,
Uh, because when you're spraying any sort of insecticide near an electrical outlet, turns out it can cause a fucking explosion.
right.
So what you want to do is not do that.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes that's my question though. Is if you ever done something like that where you're trying to deal with one problem and you just make shit like way fucking worse?
Yeah. No, definitely. I can relate to that. I haven't blown up an apartment yet.
Not yet.
Um, Almost certainly not for lack of trying. I've done some really dumb shit.
I have never blown up my house, but there are non-zero times where I've like almost blown up my house. And like not
Right.
almost blown up my house, but like, where I've been careless in a way that could have blown up my house.
Right. 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 Um, but the upshot is the cockroach died, right?
Cockroach did die.
And the dude survived. He had minor injuries.
Yeah, and the reports don't seem to say that anyone else was hurt.
Yeah.
Uh but yeah,
Hmm.
I mean I
Man, they must
things
build some like pretty sturdy apartments in Japan that
it's
that he
almost
could
like they've
blow
had
his
incidents
up.
in the past.
Yeah. Man, I this makes me think of when I was young, the a neighbor of my best friend uh blew up their house
Oh, really?
like um
Doing the
it
old
was
Ohio howdy.
yeah. It was a they were trying to like thaw pipes and were using, what, a blowtorch or something, and inadvertently like we heated up a gas line,
Oh my
and yeah, it
god.
blew up their house. Like I used to play, we would play in like the foundation. The house was like leveled, and
Oh,
we
that's
would go
dark.
play in the lot. Yeah.
Jeez. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I've never seen a house get blown up, I don't think. Good news is he thawed the pipe.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's thawed.
And if you're gonna blow something up, it is better to blow up your apartment than your house, because then it's your landlord's problem.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. That's wild. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not I'm not one to be like too bothered about like bugs in the house.
It really bothers if my wife sees a bug in the house, it generally bothers her unless it's like a fly or something like that. So
Yeah.
like if it's anything like more than like a fly or an ant,
Mhm.
like it tends to bother my wife and I usually will have to deal with it with a shoe. My view on a bug generally is in the house, I see it as a neutral area, which is if you're causing a disturbance or if it looks like you're a poison bug that my dog's going to eat, I am going to kill you or, get
Yeah.
if I can't get you to move on.
Yeah. Fair.
Or if somebody else, or if my wife wants you out, well, I'm sorry. There's a clear hierarchy here and you're not on it. Uh,
Right. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
totally against killing a bug outside unless it's an invasive species because you're in its house, so same shit.
Right. Mhm.
Uh, but in general, if I'm left to my own devices and there's a bug in the house, if it doesn't look like it's poison and it's not going to touch me, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think that's about my feeling. Like we get
Certainly not enough to
ants.
blow up my own house for it.
Oh no, no. But like we get ants in the springtime, and there'll be like a little track of ants and on the kitchen counter, and I just make
Oh,
sure
that
it's
bothers me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
food. No, a food area. I will kill you in a food area.
I guess I just feel like this is what happens. Again, like I keep it clean. Like that's the thing to do is like don't leave, crap out that the ants will go towards. But like, the weather's getting warmer, but it's still kind of cool, and I feel like they might be looking for like a source of water. But yeah, there'll be like ants that come in, and if I obsessed about it, like there's no possible way I can win.
No, I get that. I mean,
Over the
I just
ants.
think there's a difference between like a couple of ants or like an ant on the ground versus like a trail of ants on my counter. No, I'm not fucking having that. Like that's
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah. I don't know,
Yeah. Well,
but yes, I've never blown up a house over it.
yeah, I wouldn't blow up the house to deal with the ants. I mean, they wouldn't go on your counter anymore. That's true because you wouldn't have a counter, so that
Right,
would be good.
right,
But still, probably not worth it at the end of the day.
right.
Uh,
Is
yeah. So
yeah. So dude's okay. Like there's no,
he had some minor burn injuries, I think, is what the article said.
and he's
So he
not
had
being
some.
like facing like legal consequences or
Not that it's said. I don't think you really can because it's such a clear accident of like this person
right.
sprayed a bunch of bug spray in their apartment
Yeah,
unsafely, and I
yeah.
don't think anyone
No,
else
that's
was
what I would hope.
hurt.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else was hurt. I mean, I'm sure he has to pay a lot of money to his landlord and neighbors or agent
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
whatever
Right.
fucking,
He
situation he has.
he ain't getting that deposit back.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't a good week,
Yeah,
but I don't think he's going to jail.
yeah.
Uh, and at the end of the day, isn't that the best we can hope for?
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah.
This is Underworld News Tonight. If you enjoyed this show, wherever you get your podcast, you can go ahead and follow or subscribe.
Mhm.
Uh, and you know what? You guys are great podcast fans, but if you're a really good podcast fan, one thing you can also do is either leave a review, a written review on iTunes, or answer our
Mhm.
question on Spotify, because that helps us out quite a bit
Yeah.
in the algorithm. We
Yeah.
are
Let us
all
know what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, and we want to know what you think too. That as well. It's definitely not just a cynical ploy to get us pushed up in the algorithm. You can follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Underworld News Tonight, Reddit
Mhm.
on r/Underworld News Pod. Or yeah, so go ahead and follow the show there. As far as other things that are coming up, next week. This is coming up on Monday, actually a week from today.
Mhm.
I'm going to be on the Swamp Talk Christmas special. We recorded it last weekend, right after we did the normal show. I've got to tell you, we had a ton of fun. It's going to be really great. So go ahead and check it out. That is Swamp Talks, hosted by the Dillon Street Boys.
Yeah.
And then we've got our New Year's special coming up. And if you want to know how you can be a part of it, go to the subreddit r/Underworld News Pod.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And remember, it's all phantom time, but right now is the other thing I'm going to say.
Yeah. Oh, that's a surprise. That's not something to say every time.